Boom Z, a conversation between generations. With a changing world today, it's become exceedingly important that there be a relationship between all generations. We live in an ever-changing world, and it will take the strengths of all generations to make a positive impact on our society.
And good afternoon, everyone. And welcome to Boom Z Podcast. My name is Slammin' Sammy Hamlin.
And I'm Nina Jabril, and this is the conversation between generations. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share our podcast. And if you ever want to be on it or have any questions you would like us to answer, you can contact us at askus@boomzpodcast.com.
And Nina, before we get started, we've got some fantastic guests visiting all the way from Kansas City.
Via Zoom.
Via Zoom, yes. I want to show them a video before we actually get started. So I'm going to ask, well, go ahead and roll the video.
Now, you just won't hire Gen Z employees.
No, we don't. It's been a nightmare with 95% of the ones that we have hired. I once terminated an employee, and her father called me 24 hours later asking how he could help get his daughter's job back. I'd never heard of that before. When I've lost my job, I didn't tell my parents to go call for me.
65% of employers say they have fired a Gen Z employee, and 50% of them say they fired them real recently. Have you had to get rid of Gen Z employees?
Absolutely. And one of the reasons is social media. It's hard to do your job and work if you're on Instagram all day. You have to actually put your phone down and do some work.
But what do you do about the tremors and seizures if they put their phone down? 'Cause don't they start shaking?
Right. You got to have good insurance, but yes, it's a problem.
You actually walked in to a new Gen Z hire that'd been there like a week, and they had their feet up on the desk.
I walked into their office and sort of, jumped back a little bit because literally her feet were kicked up on the desk. She had brought in her coffee maker in the bag, had like a little blanket. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a law firm. And so what are we doing?
All right, so that was the video. But everyone, we have with us today Miss Kia Wash and Skylar Caruso Gilpatrick. Did I say that correctly?
That's very close. Yeah.
Thank you.
They're from Sherwood Autism Center
in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri.
Yes.
And this episode is going to be about Gen Zs in the workplace. So we have Miss Kia Wash, who is a Generation X. Am I correct? And then Skylar, you're Gen Z too, right?
Yes.
All right. So I want to ask you the first question, if that's okay. What did you think of the video?
I felt very bad watching that. I feel like that is very much the perspective that a lot of people have on Gen Zers, which is sad because I feel like there are, I think in all generations, there's both of those individuals who are like that in the video, and then individuals who are hardworking. And I think putting people in a group like that just makes me sad because there are Gen Zers who are working hard.
I agree. That was wonderfully said. Oh my! I wish I could have said that.
Well, just some background. Kia's the CEO of the Autism Center, Sherwood, and so she's the hirer. Yes, and Skylar's one of her employees. So I know that there's a certain dynamic relationship. My question is, what adjustments have you guys had to make with each other in the workplace? Kia?
That's a good question. I'll be honest, the video really was probably how I felt about Gen Zers 2 years ago, when I first stepped into the seat. It's been important to sort of change that paradigm and that really stereotype of yours. And so actually what Skylar and I have just started 2 weeks ago is a multi-generational mentoring program. So Skylar is my mentor and I am her mentee. Because the truth is the future. no matter how you look at it, no matter what you think about what their work ethic should or should not be, they're the future. And frankly, I think that they have figured it out. So Gen Xers tend to work and define themselves by work, and Gen Zers use work to supplement their life, right? Which I think a better way of thinking about it, it's just how do we in the workplace come to an agreement about what work is, what work is not.
So, wait, from my understanding, that means like she kind of like you kind of learn from her and like her work habits. I love that idea, Mr. Sam. I think we should implement that.
Well, as for those out there in television land, Nina works for me.
Oh, yes, I do.
So it's been an adjustment. She's been around me for about
3-4 years.
3-4 years, right? I have seen tremendous growth in her
Thank you.
thinking and habits. And I think with me, I'm a little more impatient because of the demands of the job. You cannot be incorrect during production. You got to be on point, because even though she's a Gen Z, we're working with people of all ages. So the expectation is different. It's high. I don't know in your workplace. It may be a little different, because Skylar probably, if she teaches, she has her own space that she operates, and that's her space. But she doesn't have a space. Her space is my space. so there's a different.
I would probably argue that you have a shared space.
Oh,
And so
thank you.
simply because you are I believe it's just because you have a title, that does not entitle you to certain behavior or certain beliefs. And so I believe that, because younger than I doesn't mean a colleague, doesn't mean that her ideas, passions, and thoughts aren't important and necessary. Obviously, I have a different conversation because I see all aspects, but I don't know what she does in her practice. Trust that she's doing the right thing. And I think that as older generations, our jobs are to really just create a template for people behind us to stand and push back and innovate great things. It's how do we shift this paradigm from you must do what I to compliance, right? Essentially, to freedom. And I do have very high expectations. Skylar will share that with you. Just because that you don't do your job well doesn't mean that you are not push forth the mission of Sherwood. It is about expectations. I do believe that people meet expectations. So if you expect Gen Zers to behave a certain way, that is all you're going to see. Those are the only behaviors you're going to identify. But we're colleagues. She does not work for me. We're on the same team. We just have different jobs.
Well,
I would also
yeah, I was going to ask Skylar her opinion on
I would
that.
almost argue the point of I feel that with that expectation, with my other colleagues, I feel like I have to sometimes work a little bit harder to take me more seriously. I get a lot of the time like, wait, how old are you? And I'll be like, oh, I'm only 24. And people are like, wow, you seem like you're like 30. And I'm like, well, I'm matching expectations. So I think there's that kind of preconceived idea of like, oh, she's, kicking her feet up on the desk, not doing work. But in the reality, I might be working 10 times harder than someone else because I do have that expectation for myself, and I want that to be clear to everyone else. And I think that's something that maybe that's generational. Maybe that's just us working together and kind of knowing how each other work. But it definitely is a team effort. So I think that's important.
Yeah, it's like a compromise kind of thing. Like y'all meet in the middle for it. And I think that is how you get a good work environment, a healthy work environment, especially between generations.
For all relationships, right? So personal relationships and your professional ones. I cannot walk into Sherwood and just decide how things are going to be. It will not work that way. Skylar cannot just walk into Sherwood and decide how things should be. It doesn't work that way. People don't work that way. And so sometimes it's hard. really hard for me. Last time we met, we talked about our dress code. And I am a 48-year-old Black woman, right? And so I dress like this every day. This is not special. I wear suits, community, having meetings. My team is not doing the same. So I cannot wear the same clothes. What is the compromise? Right? Because also the younger generation has freedom, right? And they are really comfortable and confident in their bodies. I want to celebrate and I want to keep safe. And so we are working on a company just now. I intentionally hired an HR person who is not of my generation because I need that lens. And I know that that is a blind spot for me.
Wow, that was one of my questions. Sorry, that was one of my questions. Was like what do you expect with dress code? Like, what do you find appropriate for men and women too?
Me or Skylar?
Skylar, yeah, I'll start with Skylar.
So this is hard. This is tricky because my parents also own business, so I feel like I see both sides of this topic. I see the side of Kia and the protection and needing to have that kind of look for a business, and then I see, my side of it is definitely I'm in it. I'm working with students, and so I feel like. Talked about this a lot. I feel like it's really hard. This is such a hard topic because what I find appropriate, Kia wouldn't. So a big thing was like a big thing. So I would say an exercise direct and what we're working in education would be appropriate with like a shawl, some sneakers. I would say that's appropriate. Kia, no.
I agreed that was
yes, you did. But I think it depends on like body type and there's so many factors to it. And so what is right? I don't know who that is.
My question is this: in certain workplaces, I mean, your workplace, like I said, is different than mine. We're loosey-goosey here, except on the gig. We have a dress code on the gig. There's no...
Yeah, there's no compromise in that dress code.
No compromise because we're...
In front of people.
And clients, and we have to look a certain way. But
who decides the way?
Who what? It's an industry standard.
Well, I'll say that we have a TEM shirt that we have to wear. So like it's just like that TEM shirt and then like pants, no holes in the pants, which I can respect the no holes because that is kind of like a crazy look on the workplace, but it's a shirt. Like we just have like a TEM shirt with the logo.
And colors make a difference. We wear black. If you're working inside with the clients, you wear black because you do not want to be seen.
Yeah.
If we're working outside, we frequently wear blue. But who makes that decision? I make that decision. And I make that decision depending on the client. When you are working for corporate America, they don't want to see you in blue jeans with the holes torn out when everybody else in the building has a suit on.
Yeah.
They're not going to.
Corporation.
What?
Definitely. It depends on the corporation. So
yeah, but I know my clients. I know my clients. When we do when we do baseball games, they can wear shorts.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have the TEM shirt on because it's a part of my contract. We have to have identifiable uniforms almost.
Yeah.
But that's a part of my contract, so I don't have a choice with that. But
what about allowing Nina to wear a TEM tank top when you're doing a track meet and it's 900 degrees outside?
We have t-shirts for that.
There?
We have t-shirts.
But they're not tank tops. They're
I don't care. She can't wear it. I'm not going to buy a tank top.
He's like, I'm not going to order it in mine. No.
Not going to put her in a tank top. Forget it. She's not going to be in a tank top. I don't care how hot it is. We'll give her a jug of water and tell her to go for it. But I do have t-shirts. I have t-shirts. So, it's different.
It's not.
It's different. I think in some cases I really, because of the job that we do for the people we do, I don't have as many choices to make compromises from Nina and the like. I just don't. They have to go with what I feel like is going to protect my business. You know, your job is so different than mine. You know, you get a check. Mm-hmm. I got to make my check, so it's a difference. You know.
Yeah. Literally, my job is to go make it. But yeah, it's compromise can be a challenge.
No, it really is.
And one other thing I want to say: Nina's not the first. I do 2 or 3 interns every semester. Mm-hmm. Every semester for the last 10 years. So I've dealt with generation to generation, and truthfully, from 10 years ago to now, it's a harder job for me to get them focused. That's very good. Mm-hmm. On the job. It's just hard. But it's not all the way, because I had 3 interns with her. One of them works for the Minnesota Twins. One of them's in an AV company in Charlotte. They were more focused, and I'm not knocking Nina, but Nina didn't know where she wanted to go, you know. But those 2 guys knew exactly what they wanted to do when they graduated. So their work ethic was different.
I also want to say that it's okay to not know what you want to do completely at your life at 23, 21, anywhere in your 20s, heck, your 30s. You got time. I'm just saying that for me.
Here's the thing, because I'm really the middle of all these generations. Here is the truth. It is okay to decide every day who you're going to be in some. The generation before me worked one job, had that same job their entire life. I drive my parents crazy because I might do something every 15 years. This is the 3rd industry I've been in, right? So I'm a social worker, then I went to healthcare, and now I'm in autism. But the resources and the information and the tools that I have, because I bounced around, really serve me today. So I really encourage people to not just choose one thing, because you need to expand your horizons and know different things. The world is a more dynamic place than it was for my parents. People are free to move about, free to communicate, connect. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Snapchat. Like, you can have best friends in New Zealand now, and they are truly your best friend. My mother could not do that. Mm-hmm. So we have to evolve the workforce around that. The other thing that I believe in is remote work. And so people on campus who have the capability of working remote do so at least one day. So every member of the administration has at least one remote day. When we go to snow days in our school, if our teachers or assistant teachers have computers, they get paid those days as remote, because this is a different environment. Mm-hmm. We did not for yesterday. We have to leave for tomorrow.
Guys, I want to break right here, but I want to finish this conversation.
It's a TEM joint.